Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I need you to get to your journal first 9 weeks. Edit that submission, and I need you to type in day 21. That we are going to create a keychain and publish it to Thingiverse today. When you've got that done, save your changes and head to the next training movie. Alright, let's start by going to Tinkercad. We've got this awesome school folder, so why don't we finally take when we get to Tinkercad and sign in and drop a link into our school folder so that we can get to Tinkercad easier. The nice thing is that will show up on your Chromebooks as well. I'm going to delete that one because it wasn't quite to the page when I moved it, and I bet you this time it shows an actual Tinkercad, which is much cooler because that's where I wanted to go. I want you to click Create a New Design. And when you launch that design, I want you to change the name to Key, Chain, and then put your initials after it. And I am going to add the date because I've made many of these and I want to keep track of which one is which. When you've got that done, please go to the next training movie. Here is my rule for a keychain. You need to grab a box, you need to click on its little edges, and you need to make it 70 wide, and you need to make it 25 in depth, and you need to make it 2 millimeters thick. You can also choose to use a cylinder. Once again though, the rules are 25 in this direction and 70 in this direction. I will do both at the same time. You can pick either one of the two and choose to do that. When you've got one of those built, next training movie. What we are going to be doing is making obviously a keychain. We need a hole, so under basic shapes find the hole cylinder, or you could add a real cylinder and make it a hole. When you bring it out here, I like to click the handle, hold the shift key and shrink it down to 5 by 5. You could also just type 5 for one side and press enter, and mine actually did both at the same time. That must have been because I had held shift earlier. You can drag it with the mouse, or I prefer to hold the arrow keys and move it where it needs to go because it's easier to line it up. If you switch to top view, you can see right where it is, and I want it up near that top corner. We're going to use another key that we practiced the other day. You won't need to do this because you're only making one, but I just want to remind you Control D is duplicate and gives me an exact copy. Once you've got your hole where you want it, grab your future keychain and group it so it cuts it out. Once again, you're doing one of these. I'm just doing two at once. When you've got that done, go to the next training movie. At this point, I want us to add our words. I need you to scroll down and find the text tool and drop it on. We're setting it right on the blue work plane this time because we want it to be cut out in a minute. You can type any word that you want that'll fit. You do have to kind of remember that you've got a small keychain. You grab the black handles to adjust it, making sure that it's completely inside the shape. Remember, you can scroll in with the zoom wheel to double check and get it lined up so that it doesn't bump the hole. You can use a top view. You can right click and drag to look at it and see if it goes exactly where you want. And when you've got it awesome, you need to change it to a hole, and then you need to group it. At that moment, it will cut it out and make it awesome. You can see I duplicated mine, and I'm bringing the go-go down. Because it's a oval instead of a rectangle, I have to adjust my shape a little bit. Just to show you that it's possible, I'm going to pick a different font for this one. So instead of multi-language, I'm going to try Sans. And I'm going to try Sans Mono. That fits just fine. I actually like the one up above better, but I'm going to put it in just so you can see what it looks like, and I'm going to group it so it is cut out as well. At that point, please move on. Alright, this is a super huge step that I've noticed a lot of people mess up over the years. They miss it. If we print this keychain right now, there's nothing to hold either of the O's in. I call these danglers. And they're super simple to fix, but you got to remember to fix it. The way to do it is to drop a box out there, and I'm going to tell you to pick a different color just so that it shows up different. I'm not going to pick a light color because I don't want you to think it's a hole. I want you to take this new piece and make it 23, so that way it's almost the same length as our whole shape. I want you to take its height and make it 0.5 millimeters, so it's real skinny. And then I want you to take its width, and I want to change it to just 1 millimeter. And then to fix the dangler, all you do is make sure you're looking from the top and move your part in so that it's connecting that little dangler spot. Now if you hold down shift and right click, you can make sure that you're right above it. Oops. I'm going to go back to top view. I'm going to hold shift and right click, and then you can click on that part and make sure it's lined up perfect. You can't do like a line in center because it just doesn't work that way. You can change your grid so you can nudge it little bits. So right there I'm going one click at a time until I'm sure that's cool. When you've got your two pieces lined up, I'm going to duplicate it because I got to do another one. Control D. I'm going to switch back to 1 millimeter so it moves faster. I'm going to hold that arrow key and get it close. Now I'm going to group these two. And then I'm going to hold down shift and right click drag so I'm right above the O. Switch back to 0.1 millimeters and line that up so it's nice and groovy. Grab both of those and group them as well. And I have now connected the danglers on my cool keychain. I've got nothing hanging underneath, so if I look from the right, it's a flat view. If I can look from the top, I can see that it's all cut up, but there are those little pieces inside. And that's what you need to do to both of those to get them fixed. You can see I did the same technique down here, but I'm going to group them in at one time instead of two parts. So when you've got your keychain like that, please move on. At this point, you have created a finished keychain. You should only have one where I have two. You do need to double check that you've got the danglers when you look from the top. You need to double check when you look at the side. And you can click that arrow and see it that it's totally flat. You don't have anything underneath. You don't have anything puffed up. If you've got it like that, I'm going to delete it so I only have one because it's best to share one thing. You can do two things. First, you can download the STL for 3D printing and put it in your downloads folder. It'll have your name on it so that you could email me that. The second thing you can do, and I want you all to do this right now, is to share it to Thingiverse. So when you hit share, hit connect to Thingiverse. Because we set up our Thingiverse a long time ago, you should all be able to do this. When it finishes, it pops up a C model on Thingiverse, which is pretty doggone cool. You need to make it published so that I could see it at some point. When you do publish it, they would like you to add an image of it, and I would like you to do that by going back to your image or your shape, getting your screen oriented so that you like the way it looks. So I'm doing the shift drag so that I've got a good angle. And then I'd like you to use awesome screen capture to capture the selected area. So I'm just capturing a picture of my image. When I do capture, I really want to download this one. So I'm going to just hit done, and I'm going to hit local save. When that goes to my downloads folder, I hit save. I go back to Thingiverse, I browse, go to downloads, and there is my cool image so I can add my image. If you scroll down, you'll be able to see that that image was added. You can see that you also have that STL file that allows us to print. You can change your name to something else. I'm going to put this as a Go Whoa keychain. I put the tag keychain. I left the Creative Commons. And then you could add all kinds of thing information about how you made it, but you do not need to. You can simply move down to the bottom and say it was made with Tinkercad. Notice it puts a little X there, and then publish that thing. And at that point, it is visible for everybody. And if you followed me once upon a time, I will be able to see it, and I'll be able to like your cool object as well. And so will your friends. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call this the Awesome Screenshot Goes Wackadoodle Training Movie. If you cannot get it to save, watch this trick. Still capture, still get your picture. When you get here, hit done just like you always did. You can see that you're connected, but when you hit this button, it doesn't work. What you can do is hit upload, go to the Awesome Screenshot page. On your cool picture, right click and do Save Image As. Once again, hit Downloads, and then you could do the wackadoodle name it just gave you, but I'm going to type Keychain MDH so that I've got it saved, and then you continue with the training as the rest said. If you have not followed me before, this is a good time to fix it. Type the roar, press enter, and you want to find the username the roar, and where yours probably says follow or does not say here, you can click following so that you can see the things I make and I can see the things you make. At this point, move on to the next chunk of training where you will learn how to screen capture one of the new skills you found. Alright friends, so yesterday we had an assignment where you had to show the work plane recording your screen. I've got some of those done. I need all of them done. So your job right now is to finish what we were doing yesterday, and then I need all of the videos posted. When they're done, they will look like that in my video project. If you are completed with this, congratulations. I will see what I can find for you to do. One thing that I can guarantee you can do would be to record a new piece of training using yesterday's skills about the keychain you made, explaining something about how you designed it. And then if you post that video to Twitter or share it with me, or allow me to share it on Twitter, I will print the keychain for you. So there's an option to get your cool item printed. You can also ask me about another skill you would like to show everybody.